Hello everybody and welcome back to the RORSRPS Season 2 Qualifier. My name is Preston Vieira and it's time to find 2 more qualifiers for the RORSRPS season. We're here at the Spin Master Showdown event where just last week we found our 4th and 5th qualifiers, Gunslinger and Blacksmith. Now they get to sit on the sidelines and relax or get their trucks ready for Season 2 while we run through the rest of our 43 qualifiers. Tonight we'll be going through 2 more 16 truck racing brackets in hopes of finding our next qualifiers. Of course, using many of our requests that you guys gave over on Instagram, but we'll also be introducing the wheel spin later this episode. This is going to be another great night of racing, so buckle in now. If you enjoy the show tonight or you just want to be here to catch the official RORSRPS season, please consider subscribing. We'll have 3 Tours of Madness coming out soon, and at the end of our qualifying window, you'll have the chance to pick trucks and sign up to be named as a driver for the entirety of the RORSRPS season. You can also head over to Instagram and follow the series at RORSRPS to place your votes on our story and join in the decision-making process. Your votes will help decide which tour these qualifiers end up on, and every vote counts. Some of the votes can come down to a single vote or even a tiebreaker. Just this past weekend, Gunslinger was chosen to join Son of a Digger on the Biggest and Baddest Tour, and Blacksmith ended up on our Indy Madness Tour. Get your opinions heard. You do not want to miss another vote. Speaking of missing things, I did happen to forget to record the shuffling of the racing seeds for our first event tonight, but every bracket has been randomized, I assure you. But without further ado now, let's jump in and check out our first racing bracket of the night, all filled with your requests from Instagram. First up on the racing bracket, we're going to be seeing Black Panther take on Wolf's Head. Venom is going to face off against Spider-Man, how fitting. Wolverine will take on Captain America. Megabyte will take on Suburban Daredevil. McGruff the Crime Dog will take on Excalibur. NEA is going to face off against Sting. Superman will take on Earthshaker. And last but not least, at the bottom of round 1, War Wizard is going to face off against Doomsday. Couple great races lined up here tonight, and we're getting started already with our first one of the night. Black Panther coming out on your right, and Wolf's Head coming out on your left. Panther versus the Wolf. Who is going to take it as we go green in your first race of round 1? We saw this track giving a lot of these trucks trouble last week, and I'm curious to see who it's going to bite. Wolf's Head getting squirrely in that first second on the floor here. Really, both of them looking good over that massive gap, though. This is the first time we've seen either one of these 2 trucks on this channel. Black Panther looking to make a name for himself and advance on to round 2 and hopefully get into that winner's circle and qualify for Season 2. But Wolf's Head over there on the right, on your left, is taking a solid approach through the slalom coming up, and it's neck and neck over the double rollers. Black Panther getting into trouble, getting back up onto starting elevation. Wolf's Head nice and smooth around that turn. Just taking it easy, has the lead right now. Sometimes you got to take it easy, not to get ahead of yourself. You don't want to make a big mistake and let Black Panther come back out on top if you're trying to take the win. Heading into the tunnel, Wolf's Head looking for a transfer. Solid, getting into a little bit of trouble. Black Panther beautifully done. Wolf's Head still holding that lead as he go for the gap. Is he going to shoot it? He is. Up and over. Not the smoothest landing, trying to get it stopped before the cars there, and he does. Black Panther able to grab a lead here. If he can hold it together, loses the rear end, and it's neck and neck. First race of the night already off to a wild start here. Heading in our final turn, Wolf's Head is a lot tighter. Black Panther looking for something. It's not going to happen, though. Wolf's Head is heading to the line in first, and he pulls it off. Moving on to round 1, Black Panther will have a chance to come back, getting put on the reuse wheel after tonight's show. But Wolf's Head is going to be advancing to round 2 tonight, one step closer to finding himself in Season 2. Next up on the track, our next race of the night is going to be Spider-Man versus Venom. Venom over there on your right, and Spider-Man on your left. That Miles Morales scheme on that truck, and we're gonna go hard here in round 1 as we launch off the line, both of them with that cheetah body up and over. Both of them kind of rolling over the top of that step up. Spider-Man a slight lead though. Venom looking to clean it up. Does get a nice landing there. Both of them get nice landings, but Venom's still behind right now. SpiderMan losing a lot of traction in that first turn. Venom does well. Starting to gain a little bit on SpiderMan. Through the slalom, SpiderMan really losing that rear end. He is a very slippery truck out on this track. He's struggling to keep that rear end tucked behind him. Using a lot of rear steer in the slalom and in the turns, and it's just spinning that truck out a lot more than it needs to. Venom in the lead right now, heading onto the bridge. SpiderMan absolutely launching it. Very solid truck, very quick. We did have essentially this SpiderMan in as a sub in season 1. Definitely a different paint scheme there, but same node, same driving ability here. And he's looking to get qualified into season 2, but it's not looking like it's gonna happen with Venom absolutely launching over the gap, clearing it. SpiderMan coming up short, long to low here, heading into that semi-final turn. Venom just expanding that gap between the two. Heading into the final turn, it is Venom coming into it first and heading into the triple now. SpiderMan, Miles Morales, not gonna happen tonight as Venom heads over the line first. Nicely done. There goes SpiderMan just now getting across that line. A big gap in front of him. And it's unfortunate. I did want to see SpiderMan do well. I'm always rooting for SpiderMan, one of my favorite Marvel heroes. Definitely, I would say my favorite Marvel hero. So it's unfortunate to see him go down in round 1. Captain America coming out now on your left, and he's taking on Wolverine, that classic World Finals Wolverine over there on your right with that old Chevy body that I used to rock. And we're getting started already, heading up and over the step up. Neck and neck here. Wolverine getting a big bounce, and that is going to hurt his lap for sure. I mean, if you're rooting for Wolverine, all you can hope for at this point is a big slip from Captain America. He does come up short on the landing, but so does Wolverine. And Wolverine has a lot of bounce. As we mentioned last show with AmeriQuest Freedom, these older trucks do have a much different suspension than some of the newer ones. So they tend to be a lot more bouncy. And you're getting showcased that firsthand here with Wolverine. Captain America heading into the double rollers here. Wolverine does seem to have gained a little bit, but Captain America doing his best to keep him behind right now. Heading down onto the bridge, the sort of ski slope we have here. Captain America nice and easy through it, up onto the bridge. Wolverine the same. Nice air from both of them. Up onto the bridge, and Wolverine gets into some trouble with a massive wheelie there. I told you get an awkward bounce into those cars or a little too close to those cars. Wow. That is a hard hit for Wolverine, and he is all over the place. Still up on the first floor as Captain America is already down to the bottom floor, and Wolverine clips the roof, going into the tunnel as well. Captain America seems to be free and clear here to grab a win unless there's a big slip in that final turn and he goes over. It's gonna be Captain America. Wolverine just taking it easy, just trying to get across the finish line. At this point, all you could hope for is finishing the race. You don't want to end up upside down, not even getting across the line, adding insult to injury here. Captain America gets across that finish line. He will be advancing to round 2. Wolverine just looking to get across the line now. And there it is. Wolverine is done, and he is done for the night, but his name will be added to that reuse list, and he will get another chance potentially soon if he gets chosen. Nice stoppie from Captain America there. And these trucks are going to head back up to the starting elevation. Wolverine's probably going to get put away, but here comes Megabyte over there on your right with a custom scheme. Suburban Daredevil on your left, a fully custom truck. And they're going head-to-head here in round 1. Both of them looking good. Megabyte clipping the thing on the way down. Heading up and over that jackrabbit there. Nice downside from Megabyte, a lot smoother, but it's still neck and neck between the two. Suburban Daredevil having to come up short for some reason. Solid turn from Megabyte. Suburban Daredevil, a lot of slide there. Having trouble getting back on the power, it looks like. Through the slalom, he might be doing well, though. Suburban Daredevil looks to be gaining a little bit, but Megabyte gets spit out first and getting back on the power soon. It hurts Suburban Daredevil for sure. Little slip heading into that turn, though, from Megabyte. Suburban Daredevil does have a shot, and no one's really out, right? I mean, this is a tough track. Anything could happen. You could smack the front face of that big gap on the bottom floor if you overestimate your ability to make it, and you could be out, and your opponent could come from behind. So it's anybody's game here. Megabyte getting kicked up onto the front end, but keeps it going. Still holding that lead on Suburban Daredevil. It is pretty close. Again, anything can happen. Megabyte going for it. Kind of a rough landing there. Suburban Daredevil, a rougher one, though. And Megabyte is coming out of that turn and into the chicane first. It's looking like it's going to be Megabyte advancing to round 2 here as he heads into our final turn there. And beautifully done. Suburban Daredevil, not a bad turn, but just too far behind as Megabyte heads up and over the finish line. Megabyte advances to round 2. What a race from Megabyte. Solid from the start. A couple little slips, but nothing really too damaging to his run. Holding that lead the entire time. Next up on the track, heading to the line, it's McGruff the Crime Dog. On your right, taking on Excalibur. Two classic trucks here. Of course, Excalibur is the newer version of Excalibur, but two classic names as far as Monster Jam goes, and we're heading off the line already and taking on this first floor. Up and over that Jackrabbit. McGruff, beautifully done. Nice downside on the Jackrabbit, a little squirrely, but coming off better than Excalibur, who's going to have to come up short there. Long to low, get a nice little combo through there. Solid speed, solid momentum, but that does hurt. Anytime you have to come up short like that on that big gap, you are losing time, especially when your opponent gets such a beautiful landing like McGruff did. Heading through the slalom, McGruff getting out of it already. Excalibur not too far behind through the slalom, though. Makes up some ground nicely. Down the ski slope for McGruff and Excalibur. McGruff getting close to those cars, but beautifully done with the combo. Excalibur clipping the center divide. We saw Rage get into some trouble with that last show. He ended up, adjusting and cooling off on hitting that center divide, but he still was not able to knock out Gunslinger in our first show last show. So Gunslinger became our qualifier. McGruff having a solid effort here. Hard hit on the front for Excalibur, but it's kind of neck and neck here. McGruff was having a solid performance here in round 1, really looking to become our next qualifier. Excalibur getting into some trouble heading through that chicane. It's actually not too far between the two. McGruff does take the lead, though, over the triple, and it is going to be McGruff the Crime Dog heading over the line first. Excalibur, again, not too far behind. Looked like he was going to get into some trouble after that gap in the first straightaway there. Had some trouble, had to come up short, but he made solid effort getting back up into first. If he would have had a smoother landing on that gap on the bottom floor, he might have been able to come back there. It just wasn't able to happen this time around. Next out on the track, though, NEA coming out on your right. New Earth Authority Police on your right, taking on Sting, a classic here in your left lane. Launching off the line, it's Sting getting to the step up first. Ooh, NEA into some trouble there. Saving it and keeping it on all 4 BKTs, but having some trouble. NEA looks like he might be a breakable, might be a werewolf truck. We'll see how it goes here. Heading into the turn, yeah, definitely a werewolf truck. You can see the deformation in that right rear tire as he turns, and it's all tires really, but in that turn specifically, the deformation, you can see it right there, left, right, rear. Now you'll see it again in the left rear. That is a werewolf node beam truck, a breakable. So he's struggling to keep up with Sting, a V4 node truck, not in the same position at all, but anything could happen. I mean, there's a good chance. We saw Ameriquest Freedom keeping up with Gravedigger last show. So we'll see how NEA does. He's not too far behind Sting. Sting coming down onto the floor again. Solid through there, looking for the transfer into the tunnel. Beautifully done. Nice. NEA coming up short there. You don't want to get into trouble with that wall. You can lose a tire. You can pop a tire. Anything will hurt your run. Sting going for the gap. Rough hit on the front end, but gets up onto that elevated turn. NEA, of course, coming up short. You need to when you're in those werewolf trucks. And it is going to be Sting heading to that final turn first. Nicely done through the turn. A little squirrely on the back end, but heading up and over the triple. Sting going to the finish line. NEA struggling to just get across right now. Comes up a little short on that triple landing as well. Doesn't get the downside that everybody else has been getting, but that is going to do it. NEA gets across the line. Solid effort, but not enough tonight. Next out on the track, our next race is going to be Superman taking on Earthshaker. Superman on your right, of course, that classic Superman body from like the early 2000s there. Looking good. I've always loved that truck, especially, what was that, World Finals 8? Superman getting stuck up on the nose. That was pretty awesome. We'll see if he can get qualified into Season 2 and bring some of those moves with him. Earthshaker behind big time on Superman. It's looking good for Superman tonight. Heading into that first turn. Superman getting into the slalom already, keeping a nice gap on Earthshaker. Just what you want to see if you're a Superman fan here. Of course, Earthshaker is our World Finals 22 champion in real life, racing champion. So we'll see how he does if he gets into the RORSRPS Season 2. Look at that sky wheelie. That's giving him some trouble as far as a solid lap goes, but pretty cool if this was freestyle. Earthshaker is one of those trucks that I really tried to get into the season last season. He just wasn't able to qualify. I did have qualifying events similar to this one. I didn't use this track, but I did have qualifying events. He just wasn't able to grab a spot last season. We'll see if he can do it this season. Superman still holding that lead on Earthshaker. Earthshaker really putting in a solid effort to get back up neck and neck at least. Superman getting into trouble. Hard roll. Keeps it up on that elevated turn though, but it's going to be Earthshaker reclaiming the lead. Big slip from Superman in the final semifinal turn. And another big slip down the straightaway. Superman squirrely, sliding all over the place. Earthshaker heading over the triple. It is gonna be Earthshaker advancing to round 2, one step closer to avoiding getting stuck out of a second season. Superman getting across that line now. Unfortunate break for Superman. A classic Monster Jam truck knocked out tonight in round 1. World Finals 22 racing champion, showing you right there why he should be in Season 2. Knocking out Superman, just keeping it consistent all run. That's all you really have to do is, keep it consistent. If your opponent makes a big mistake, you got a shot. War Wizard coming out now on your right. Doomsday on your left. And we got a bunch of votes for Doomsday to be in the season, or to be in the qualifiers. Got a big fan base for Doomsday. I don't hate the truck, I'll tell you that much. War Wizard, a nice lead on him though. Heading into the gap here. Doomsday going for it. Looking like he might come up short. Not too bad though. War Wizard getting into trouble. I didn't even notice. War Wizard gets stopped. They did shut him off there. Getting a little close to the crowd in the dumpsters, but they let him refire as he kept it safe. Doomsday in the lead right now through the slaloms as War Wizard gets into some more trouble. Struggling to get back up neck and neck with Doomsday. Doomsday getting back up on the starting elevation, nearly gets into some trouble. But War Wizard really rocking it. Doomsday is another one of our werewolf trucks tonight. War Wizard, of course, a V4. Doomsday trying to keep that gap. War Wizard really trying to reduce the gap here. as he's making up some ground. Does get into trouble on that bridge, though. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Doomsday, beautiful transfer into the tunnel. War Wizard looking for it, too. Oh! Hard hit against the wall. Don't shut him off, just a tire smack, but, you know, that is a rough hit inside the cab. Doomsday already up into that elevated turn, that semi-final turn. It's looking good for Doomsday heading into round 2. War Wizard, a solid landing there on that gap. Doing what he can to try and come back, but it's not going to happen, especially after losing the rear end in that elevated turn. Doomsday headed to the line now as he heads over the triple. Nicely done. At least one of the NEA Doomsday team head into round 2. Doomsday will be advancing to round 2 as we finish out round 1. War Wizard finally getting across that line. Nice slap wheelie, but that is going to be it for War Wizard tonight. We'll see if he can make it back through the wheel spin or at all, really. Let's take a look at our round 2 bracket here in just a second. Wolf's Head is going to be taking on Venom. Captain America will take on Megabyte. McGruff the Crime Dog will take on Sting, and Earthshaker is going to take on Doomsday. A couple of interesting races here. All of it is really exciting to me personally. I can't wait to see who our first official next qualifier is going to be out of these top 8 here so far. Wolf's Head, Venom, Captain America, Megabyte, McGruff, Sting, Doomsday, and Earthshaker. Earthshaker and Doomsday, I should say. Wolf's Head coming out next on your right, and he'll be taking on Venom on your left. Launching up and over that step up, neck and neck. Venom, hard hit on that front end. Wolf's Head takes a lead thanks to that. Wolf's Head does slow down, though. It's neck and neck over the gap. Venom, a much better landing. We got to see how it comes down to the end here and who will come out on top. Wolf's Head was solid in round 1. Venom solid as well. Gets into some trouble, but Wolf's Head tries to keep himself from getting squirrely. Slows down in that first straightaway. Now they're pretty much neck and neck, but Wolf's Head is behind Venom. Up and over those double rollers. Wolf's Head right there with them heading into this turn. Through the ski slope. Nicely done from both of them. Solid over those cars. Wolf's Head might have been just a little bit faster, kicking that rear end up and getting those front wheels on the ground, putting a little bit of power down. Nice transfer from Wolf's Head. Venom is out wide on the rollers on the bottom floor. Wolf's Head reclaims that lead and heading towards the gap. He's going to go for it. Nicely done, getting into trouble once again, but saves it, kind of having a rough turn. Venom, not the quickest turn, but he's right there with Wolf's Head heading back into the semifinal straight. Then over the jump, heading into the final turn. Wolf's Head a slight lead still. Heading to the triple. It looks like it's gonna be Wolf's Head heading to the line up and over, and it is. Wolf's Head moves on to the semifinals tonight. Wolf's Head, first time we've seen him on the channel. First time we've seen Venom as well. But Wolf's Head is having a solid performance so far. Could very well end up in the final round and could very well be our qualifier here tonight in our first bracket. Solid effort from Venom, just not enough. Megabyte on your left now. Captain America coming out on your right. And these two are going to go hard here. Going green, launching off of that starting line, up and over that step up. Both of them completely ignoring that rollover. Just going straight for the downside onto that first floor. Megabyte coming out of there quicker. Captain America still a slight gap between the two. Megabyte in the lead right now. Solid turn from both, though. Captain America coming back. The slalom is really a wild card. You could be good all night and then just oversteer in the slalom and be out for the rest of the race or for the rest of the bracket. So, I mean, it could also make your night, too. If you're quicker than your opponent, that's definitely one of the wild cards we have here at the Spin Master Showdown. Heading down onto the ski slope here. Megabyte in the lead once again. Both of them making quick work of the bridge, heading back down to the floor. And we're looking for a transfer into the tunnel. Beautifully done from both trucks. Megabyte a little quicker, but he's just holding on to that lead that he's had this entire time. Is Captain America going to go for the gap? We know Megabyte will. No! Megabyte's going long to low. Captain America goes for the gap. And Captain America ends up going over. Does manage to get back on all fours. He touched those cars, though, so they do shut him down there. Looking to come back, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not with Megabyte's performance from this round or the previous round. Up and over the triple. Megabyte is heading to the finish line. Captain America struggling to get that truck back on track here to finish out his racing for tonight. Around the turn, that final turn, and into that final straight. Captain America heading to the line now. Unfortunate for sure. Solid race in round one. Really solid here in round two as well. Just had too much kick in that rear end. Jumping the gap here. Sting coming out on your left now. And McGruff, the crime dog, on your right. Both of these trucks are in the same lane that they took on in round one. So that's a big advantage to both of them. So they're really neck and neck once again. Up and over the kicker. McGruff chooses to roll over it a little bit, using it to get that perfect downside there. Sting, a very slight lead over the gap, but gets into trouble in the first turn. McGruff out wide though, giving Sting a chance to catch up and make up his mistake here. Slalom again, that wild card really could go either way through here. Over that double roller, McGruff looking better. This is the race to watch so far. These two are neck and neck. This entire time they've been on each other. Both of them have had slight mistakes. McGruff less than Sting, but neck and neck. Sting comes out with the lead heading into the tunnel. McGruff getting into it, kind of keeping it safe, but kind of getting into some trouble there in the tunnel, nearly going over. And he stays behind Sting right now. Sting getting crooked. Not the way you want to go out there. McGruff getting into trouble. Going over, similar to the way we saw Dalmatian go over last show, and down goes the crime dog. Sting is free and clear to grab a win here, heading into his final turn. Once again, another solid final turn. Looks like he's working on his exit, trying to clean that up and, a little less sliding around there. And over the finish line, Sting moves on to the semifinals tonight. Nicely done from Sting. Not the way I expected that to go, for being honest here. McGruff has been solid, or was solid in round one, excuse me. We're in round two. Up and over that big roller. Sting heading back to the pits. Next race out onto the track. Next couple of opponents. Earthshaker over on your right, and Doomsday on your left. Doomsday, solid for a werewolf truck. His opponent, Superman, or War Wizard, did get into some trouble last round. Earthshaker knocking out Superman, taking that Sonic Heroes approach to the step up this time. Ooh, that is going to hurt Earthshaker's pass here. Doomsday flying, nearly getting the downside, kind of kicking that rear end up and getting into a little bit of trouble, but still holding that lead on Earthshaker through that first turn. Earthshaker not doing well at all this time around. And those werewolf trucks are pretty grippy in that slalom, so that is I don't want to say an advantage, but it's a place where they could excel if they handle it correctly. Earthshaker trying to come back there. Doomsday getting clipped big time on the corner, getting back up onto starting elevation. But here we go, down to the ski ramp. Nicely done from both of them. Earthshaker catching up to Doomsday in the air. And Doomsday clipping that center divide. That might have slowed him down just a bit there. Neck and neck heading into the tunnel. Can Earthshaker take it back here? Doomsday slips. Earthshaker comes back. Nicely done. Up and over the roller, looking for the gap now. Earthshaker's going long to low, but so is Doomsday. And Doomsday, huge sky wheelie there. Just picked that nose in, launched it up in the air. Got him back up to the elevated turn, but that hurt his time for sure. And it looks like it's going to be Earthshaker nearly going over there, nearly rolling the truck, heading into that final turn. But Earthshaker up and over the triple in first, and he is going to take the win here, heading over the finish line and advancing to round 3, our semifinals here at the Spin Master Showdown. Doomsday is out for the rest of the bracket. Solid effort from the werewolf truck, just not enough here going into the semifinals. What do we got for our bracket here? Wolf's Head is going to be taking on Megabyte, and Sting will face off against Earthshaker. Now, from what we've seen from these trucks, it's looking like Megabyte is the most consistent. Sting right there with them. So those are my guesses here for the semifinals. Megabyte will take on Sting for the finals, and these two are lining up to get started here on that starting line, ready to go. And we're green, heading into our first race of the semifinals. The dogs going at it here. Megabyte versus Wolf's Head. Wolf's Head a slight lead on Megabyte, but he's crooked once again coming off of that jackrabbit. Megabyte reclaims the lead. Heading into our first turn. Solid from Megabyte. Just holding on to that gap. Went through the slalom. Wolf's Head really trying to cut out any unnecessary time here in that slalom, and he does well, getting right back up here with Megabyte. Oh, Wolf's Head getting in trouble on the dumpsters, nearly the same way that Rage got into trouble. This time it's not Team Scream. Team Scream is doing well over there on the left side of your screen, up and over the bridge. Wolf's Head making quick work of the cars, but they make slow work of him, getting him into some trouble on the bridge, having to settle that truck down and get it spun around the right direction. Megabyte, nice lead on Wolf's Head, heading into potentially our final round. I told you he has been consistent here tonight. Oh, Wolf's Head going for a massive ride, and that is going to hurt. They are, even if he didn't end up on his lid like that, they are going to shut him off. Megabyte heading to the final round tonight. If he could just get across that finish line through the final turn, beautifully done. Looking for the triple. Overshoots it even. Up and over the line, and Megabyte is heading into our final round, trying to compete for that final, for our qualifier, our next qualifying spot here at the Spin Master Showdown qualifier. If you guys are enjoying the show, please remember, hit that like button. We got more shows coming, so if you let me know you like it, that's even better. Heading out of the starting gate now, it's Sting coming out on your right and Earthshaker on your left. Neck and neck heading into the jackrabbit. Sting a slight lead. Earthshaker slap wheelie, that is going to hurt his race here, but it's still pretty neck and neck. Sting getting into trouble, both of them rocking that truck up on the sidewalls. Heading into the slalom, pretty solid, neck and neck, both of them. Earthshaker looking to try to negate oversteering. Sting, you see him getting completely sideways. Earthshaker trying not to do that, trying to keep that nose pointed into the next turn rather than completely sideways across the track. Turning those trucks around, looking for the ski hill here. Earthshaker gets out of it first. Sting nearly misses the bridge with those rear tires. That could have been bad, but he's keeping it running, looking for a transfer into the tunnel. Earthshaker gets it. Sting does not. Sting goes over in the tunnel here in the semifinals. Earthshaker will be moving on to the final round if he can finish this race. Taking it easy, long to low, up onto that elevated turn. Just looking for the finish line. Trying to keep that truck under control until then, just to make it into that final round. Going around that final turn, out pretty wide. Needs to get that under control next round if he wants to take out Megabyte. Megabyte has been on fire tonight. And that is it. Earthshaker across the line and into the finals. It's going to be a long drive back up to that starting gate. Luckily, you guys do not have to see all of that. But coming out of the track, let's take a look at our bracket here. Megabyte and Earthshaker, both of them taking each other on in the finals. And this is going to be an interesting race. Earthshaker has not been the most consistent tonight. And I mean, that last race, he just managed to get there thanks to a mistake by his opponent. But we're going green here in the finals, launching off of that starting line and headed for that step up. Both of them just going straight for that downside onto the competition floor here. Looking for the gap. Megabyte in the lead right now. Earthshaker comes up short. Through the slalom here, it's back neck and neck. Earthshaker really trying to do what he did last round, trying not to oversteer as much. Kind of oversteers there. Megabyte's been doing it almost the entire time through the slalom though, so he might be all right. Earthshaker right there with him, heading back up to starting elevation, but a sky wheelie is gonna hurt. Taking on the ski slope. Megabyte in the lead. Huge sky wheelie up onto the bridge. Earthshaker right there with him. Coming back a little bit here on the bridge. Neck and neck. Megabyte first down into the tunnel. Beautiful transfer. Earthshaker a little bit too bouncy there. Comes up a little short. Looks like it's going to be Megabyte, but anything can happen in these final couple turns. Megabyte going for the gap. Hard hit on the front end. Earthshaker too, though. Earthshaker a little slower to recover. Through that chicane for Megabyte. It looks like it's all Megabyte heading into this final turn. Beautifully done. Earthshaker out wide, doesn't control that final turn as well as he should have. Not that it would have made a difference. Megabyte too far in the lead and taking our first qualifying spot of the night. Megabyte moves on to the RORSRPS second season. We will see him there. Be sure to follow that Instagram and keep an eye on my story. He will be on, so you can vote for his tour placement soon. Maybe not tonight, but very, very soon. So head over there, check it out if you haven't. And he's gonna head up to starting elevation so we can get one last look at our next qualifier here. That custom Megabyte looking awesome, heading back up to the line. We'll see him all season long. Don't forget, at the end of our qualifying window, we will be able to you'll be able to pick a truck. So if you want to drive Megabyte, stick around to the end of our qualifying window here, and you'll be able to potentially get locked in. And there he is, qualifier number 6, Megabyte. Now, before we get into our bracket, we will be introducing the wheel spin. So this is your first look at getting to spin the full wheel here. This is sped up, but here's our first pick. Just Get Her Done 2020. As we head into our next one here, it's gonna be Megalodon on that CRD. Been in that wheel one more time, and we got Bad Company 2020. And our next pick is gonna be Sting and Vet King, but the werewolf version this time. So we just had Sting. We're probably gonna go with Vet King this time around. Max D 20th anniversary custom. This is my personal custom. I personally love that thing on that classic Max D body. Monster Mutt 2023, that is the Kohler version. Chris Kohler is here to show out, and here is the shuffling of our seeds here so we can get our official bracket for racing tonight. I did happen to record this one this time. So there's a look at our lineup there, and here is our bracket. Round 1 is going to get kicked off with Maximum Destruction versus Monster Mutt. NWO is going to take on the Punisher. War Machine will take on Titan. Megalodon will take on Vet King. Troublemaker is going to take on Just Get Her Done. Deadly Monster will take on Rzone Defender. Cockfighted Destruction will take on SpiderMan 2099. And Exterminator will take on Bad Company. Mostly requests here but we do have a good amount of, brand new trucks to the line here. Maximum Destruction coming out first, taking on Monster Mutt. And we're going hard here in round 1. And Custom Max D. Chris gets to the line first. Monster Mutt ends up getting down to that Jackrabbit first as well, but Max D did not come to play. Maximum Destruction trying to keep up with the dog out here at the Spin Master Showdown. Through that first turn, Monster Mutt looking good. Max D playing catch up. Little struggle going into the slalom there from Max D. It's going to be Monster Mutt getting spit out of the slalom first. Up and over that double roller there. Oh no! No! Monster Mutt down. That hurts. They are going to shut him off for that one. Maximum Destruction. Looks like he's going to be moving on. Needs to get across that finish line to do so. Unfortunate. That is it for Monster Mutt tonight. Hard hit on that front end. Max D heading into the tunnel, slowing that truck down, trying to keep it under control here. Nicely done over the rollers on the bottom floor. He's going to go for the gap. If we know Tom Mintz, we know he's going for the gap. Beautifully done. Perfect landing on the opposite side on that elevated turn. And a nice turn as well. And that is going to do it heading into our final turn for Maximum Destruction. If he made it this far, I'm sure he'll make it across that finish line. Up and over the triple, beautifully done. And Maximum Destruction is moving on to round 2. Unfortunate break for Monster Mutt. Could have got a second Team Scream truck. That would make 4 already qualified here in our first 7 qualifiers. Maximum Destruction heading back to the pits to get prepped for round 2. Next race out on the track, NWO over there on your right, and the Punisher on your left. This is going to be an interesting race here. 2 very different trucks. And we're going green. Launching off of that starting line and headed for that step up. NWO tapping those rear tires, launching that nose down towards the ground. Luckily, he gets a save. Very bouncy, trying to get that truck settled down. Punisher looking for a downside. Beautifully done. NWO a little squirrely here. Headed into the slalom. Punisher launching that truck in. NWO really grabbing those tires there. Getting set up on the sidewalls for a second. Sending it back down. Keeping it on track here. Trying to make up some time. Punisher already back up to starting elevation. NWO rolls the truck over. Trying to get a save here, but it's not going to happen for him. Truck will not roll back onto those tires. The Punisher gets a free ride into round 2. Unfortunate break for NWO for sure. Definitely want to see him do well. Punisher heading down into the tunnel though. Solid transfer, little bouncy, but gets it under control, keeps it off the walls. Looking for the gap here. Is he going to launch it? Looks like it. No, he's going long to low. Nicely done. Simple little combo there. Keeping that truck, quick. Trying to get through it quick. Looking for that semi-final jump here. Coming into the turn. Nice and tight. A little wide on the exit. Punisher. Solid lap there. We'll see how he does against the other trucks, but he could have a shot, potentially. Felt quick, in my opinion, but we'll see how he does the rest of the night and if he can keep it consistent with that quickness. And on to round 2 for the Punisher. Next race out onto the track, it's going to be War Machine on your right, taking on Titan. Now, we've seen Titan on the channel before in our Halloween special video, and he has a potential to do well. I do like the way this truck drives, but it's all about if he can keep it under control, and that shows you right there. Burying the nose into the ground is not going to help you in the race. War Machine looking good, comes up short on the gap. Titan gets a pretty solid landing there. So they are back neck and neck as they head into the slalom. War Machine a slight lead as we go through it. But Titan is no slouch, and he's looking to make up some time here. War Machine comes out of it first. Uh-oh. War Machine getting into trouble on the dumpsters. Second truck tonight to do so. Third truck tonight to do so. Titan going up and over. Nicely done, getting up onto the bridge. War Machine trying to get smooth through here, get quick. Especially after that mistake, having to get that truck turned around, and everything is just adding time onto him. Real flustered. Trying to make up time, putting too much pressure on himself now. Titan looking for the gap. What does he got? Going long to low. War Machine, if he wants to make up time, he needs to go for it, but he's not. He's also going long to low, so that is going to add time onto him once again, just widening that gap between him and Titan. Titan in the lead heading into our final turn. War Machine getting into up onto one wheel there. Into some trouble, clipping that launch ramp coming out of the chicane. And it is going to be Titan moving on to round 2 here in our second bracket tonight. War Machine, unfortunate, not too far behind in the end, but too far behind to grab a win here in our first round. Now here is that werewolf Vet King on your left, and he'll be taking on Megalodon. And we already have one Megalodon in the series, but I figured if we got a Megalodon Fire and we get a regular Megalodon in there, or a Meg Neon, that wouldn't be too bad for a duplicate. Vet King right there with Megalodon right now. I was going to say Vet King's in the lead, but Megalodon made short work of recovery after his mistake. Heading through our first turn here, Megalodon out a little wide. That is going to hurt with the werewolf's grip, but they are pretty neck and neck. Vet King might even be a little bit behind still, but not this time. Not now. Megalodon trying to get back up there with Vet King now. Told you those werewolves are going to do well in the slalom. Elsewhere, not so much, as you can see here. Vet King trying to get back up onto starting elevation, really struggling, as Megalodon is already into that ski hill. Up and over the cars, Vet King hurt. You see that truck tweaked bad after clipping that corner on the trying to get back up onto starting elevation. Megalodon getting a solid transfer into the tunnel. Vet King coming up short. Just trying to keep that truck under control with the handling damage that we got here. Meg looking for a transfer, getting into trouble, going over, and ends up on top of those cars. They are going to shut him down. Vet King has a shot at making it to the finals if he can make it past next round. They are going to try and work hard to get that truck fixed up, but he's heading into our final turn, free and clear to grab a win. Uh-oh, getting into trouble there. Nice, up and over the finish line, and that is going to do it for Vet King here in round 1. We'll see him again in round 2 once they get that truck fixed up. But next out on the track, it's Troublemaker coming out on your right, and Just Get Her Done coming out on your left. All of them launching off that starting line neck and neck here. Troublemaker might have a little bit of a lead here. And he does, heading up and over the Jackrabbit. Huge sky wheelie from Just Get Her Done. Looking good for Troublemaker right now. Does struggle through the turn. Just Get Her Done has a shot to catch up here if he can keep it under control through the slalom. Real slow entry though. It's looking like Troublemaker is going to hold it. Overshoots the double rollers for Troublemaker. Just Get Her Done. Nice little downside there. Trying to make the most of his chances to catch up to Troublemaker right now. Troublemaker slapping that truck around, and Just Get Her Done is just about caught up. Solid transfer for both of them. Both of them not the smoothest, but both of them get it done. Up and over the roller, looking for the gap for Troublemaker. Along the low, Just Get Her Done, trying to get it done. Going over. Manages to get it back on all fours and keep it away from the cars there, so they don't have to shut him down, but that is going to hurt his race for sure. Troublemaker looking for the finish line now. Real long turn over there from Just Get Her Done, and it is Troublemaker crossing the finish line. Just Get Her Done, unfortunate here in his first time, his first attempt here, and he's going over again. And now they're going to shut him off, bouncing off the dumpster like that. Troublemaker moves on to round 2 tonight. We'll see him again in just a minute. Next out on the track, though, Deadly Monster on your right, and Rzone Defender on your left. Deadly Monster, of course, a custom, and he's throwing down, trying to get into Season 2. Trying to throw down with the official trucks as we head down to the first floor. Neck and neck here. Rzone Defender making a solid effort there. Even takes the lead heading over the gap. Both of them get solid landings. Deadly Monster a little crooked though. Both trucks looking good through the slalom. Still neck and neck. It could go either way this race. Deadly Monster comes out of it first. Up and over the double roller, gets clipped though. Still neck and neck. Rzone Defender, great turn. Same for Deadly Monster though. Very evenly matched race so far between the two. I don't even know who I would pick to move on. Heading into the tunnel, looking for a transfer. Oh, both of them getting into trouble, but it's Rzone Defender going over in the tunnel, and they are going to shut him off. They do let him get started really quick, but they did shut him off for rolling in the tunnel, bouncing off the wall like that. Deadly Monster, a solid jump there, solid gap. Rzone Defender doing what he can to try and catch up. Nearly goes over the nose, gets it under control though, but I don't think it's going to happen for him tonight. Deadly Monster already coming around that final turn. Rzone Defender just now getting into that final turn. Deadly Monster getting across the finish line. And Rzone Defender is done for tonight. He might be back soon. He was around as a sub last season, so he's determined to come back. We'll see if he comes back again and if that wheel will land on him with the random choices that it might make. Next out though, SpiderMan 2099 on your left, taking on Cockfighted Destruction on your right. Another custom from the same maker as Deadly Monster. And we are going green, heading into this, what is it? Couple more races of round 1. Oh, Cockfighted Destruction, a hard hit on the front end. Somehow they let him keep going. Up and over the Jackrabbit, solid downside. SpiderMan struggling a little bit. Cockfighted Destruction looks like he's determined to make up some ground here. A lot, aside from that first jump, he's looking a lot cleaner than SpiderMan so far. And SpiderMan spins out in the slalom as well. Heading for the double rollers here. SpiderMan having to slow down and adjust big time there. Cockfighted Destruction gets a beautiful downside on the double roller. He's right there with SpiderMan now. He is behind, but not by much. Back down to the competition floor. SpiderMan looking for a transfer, nosing over hard. Gonna have to settle that truck down. Cockfighted Destruction grabs the lead, heading over the rollers on the bottom floor. Oh! Cockfighted Destruction looking to save it. Hard roll there on that bottom floor. Oh, Spider-Man getting into trouble too. Down goes Spider-Man. Cockfighted destruction. They let him refire after that roll. And he's going to take the win here and advance to round 2. Wow. What a turn of events here between the two. Both of them struggling big time. Cockfighted destruction going over twice in this race. Spider-Man once and one and done for him. Cockfighted destruction up and over the triple and heading to the finish line. And he will be back for round 2. Wow. What a race there. And our final race of round 1. Exterminator on your right. Bad Company on your left. Bad Company, solid performance last season. Getting in that top 3 for series championship, tour championship, and then at the world finals, I believe he was 2nd or 3rd in freestyle. So I mean, he has a shot here if he can perform well in racing tonight to potentially reclaim or try to reattempt getting a world finals victory. But he needs to qualify first. Both trucks neck and neck through the slalom. Bad Company might have a lead here. Nicely done, making quick work of the slalom from Bad Company. Exterminator's right there with him, but Bad Company was a lot quicker and smoother. Bad Company is locked in right now, looking absolutely solid in this upper floor. Through the bridge. Exterminator, big sky wheelie, that is gonna hurt. Already behind, and that is just slowing him down more. Looking for the transfer. Bad Company, not the smoothest, but not the worst we've seen. Exterminator heading into the wall, keeps it off, but nearly went right into that wall. Looking for the gap. Bad Company pulls it off, doesn't nail it, but pulls it off. Exterminator, same thing. Through the chicane. Bad Company heading to the line. He wants it tonight. Exterminator too far to catch up. Bad Company has it locked in. He is going around 2 and finishing off round 1 with a bang. Nicely done from Bad Company. Exterminator, solid effort. We'll see if he can do it again if he comes back. Check out the bracket for round 2 here. Maximum Destruction will take on the Punisher. Titan will take on Vet King. Troublemaker is going to take on Deadly Monster. And Cockfighted Destruction will take on Bad Company. Unfortunate break for Spider-Man and Rzone Defender. Just get her done. A solid effort, but not enough. Megalodon. I almost had it. Megalodon almost had it in round 1. But heading into round 2, Maximum Destruction now coming out on your right in that same lane he performed in last round, and the Punisher on your left, taking on the same lane he was in last round. So we'll see if either one of them could do better and improve. Who will get knocked out here? Punisher rolling over that ledge there. Max D right there with him though, but Max D's crooked. Taking the time to back it up and get lined up. Is that going to hurt him too much? Still comes up short on the landing there for Max D. Punisher in the lead heading into the slalom now, about halfway through. Max D's really going to have to go hard to make up some ground here. Looking solid through the slalom, but I mean, Punisher was smooth last time around. Max D, huge sky wheelie. Getting back up onto starting elevation. Does manage to pull it off, but nearly ended up going over backwards in the air. Punisher having some trouble on the bridge. This is Max D's shot here, and Max D's having trouble. Does manage to get it back down on all 4 BKT tires, but Punisher holds that lead, struggling in the tunnel. Max D looking to be lightning fast through the tunnel. What a save from Punisher through the dip. Now this is where Max D excels. We saw him pull off that perfect landing before. He needs to do it again and be even faster this time. He does manage to get a perfect landing, but it's looking like he's too far back. Yeah, too far back for Max D. A solid effort, but it's Punisher heading across the line first. Max D still just getting across the line, and it's unfortunate for the Max D team. Not happening this time. We'll see if the Max D team can even get qualified this season. If they don't qualify, they don't get in. So we might have to settle for Max D subs this time around, but we're still pretty early in the qualification process. We'll see how it goes. Punisher moves on to the semifinals. Next out on the track, Titan. It's going to be taking on Vet King Titan. Pretty solid last round. Did have a couple mistakes. We'll see if he can tighten those up. Vet King broke the truck last time around. We'll see if he can keep that truck in one piece this time. Vet King going for the roll over the top, really letting that truck settle at the top of that step up. Titan going long to low here. Not the smoothest we've seen from anybody so far. Vet King in the lead, heading through the slalom, and this is where those werewolf trucks can excel. Titan trying to make up some ground here, really tossing that truck into these turns. Vet King struggling to get out, nearly going into that column. Struggling to get back up to starting elevation once again for Vet King. Titan has a shot here on the bridge. Vet King just now getting up to the top. Titan right there with him now. Who can handle the bridge better? Titan is trying to fly through it, and he's back neck and neck. Is still slightly behind, but we've seen people come back from a gap like this. Oh, Titan, a hard hit right on the cab. And that is going to do it for Titan. Just gave it too much there. Vet King is free and clear to grab another advancement into the next round. There's 2 in a row. His opponent has made a big mistake, and he'll be able to advance. Titan was coming back too. If he would have made a good transfer there, it would have been Titan taking the win. I could see it already. But Vet King moving on this time if he could just get across that finish line. Real wide in that final turn. Up and over the triple. And that is going to do it. Vet King moving on to the semifinals. He'll be taking on Punisher. That's going to be a hard draw for Vet King. As long as he can keep, as long as Punisher can stay off of walls and keep that truck on all fours, he's going to be able to potentially knock out Vet King. We'll see how it goes here as Troublemaker comes out next on your right. He'll be taking on Deadly Monster back from round 1. See how it goes here as we launch off of that starting line. Deadly Monster first to the step up. Up and over that Jackrabbit. Both of them looking good. Troublemaker a little sloppier. And he's going to come up short on the gap as well. Deadly Monster getting a beautiful landing there. Through the slalom. Troublemaker really trying to make up some time here. Tossing that truck around, which is reducing grip, which is making him slow down. Deadly Monster up and over the double roller there. Beautifully done. Huge sky wheelie slows him down just enough to give Troublemaker a shot. But he clips the edge, slowing him down. Oh, Troublemaker absolutely launches it into the ski hill. No slowing down there. Trying to cut out time wherever he can, but it might actually be adding time on. Deadly Monster looking for the transfer. We just saw Titan take a big hit. And nobody gets hit this time, but Troublemaker goes over, hits the wall, and he is done in the tunnel. Deadly Monster free and clear to grab a win and an advancement into the semifinals. Deadly Monster going for a roll. Manages to get it stopped. Wow. Deadly Monster narrowly avoiding a disqualification there. If both of the trucks roll it, they would have to rerun it. So We'll see here as we head into the final round if anybody's going to have to rerun anything. Deadly Monster taking it up and over the triple and heading to the finish line. Deadly Monster moves on to the semifinals. Solid pass except for that one roll. We'll see if he can tame that next time around. He had a pretty solid landing there in round one. Just too much of a clip on there on the rear end. This time, Cockfighted Destruction next, coming out on your right. And Bad Company coming out on your left. Same lane he was in last round. We'll see if that experience pays off here. And if Cockfighted Destruction can not roll it here, keeps it under control, uses that step up, the downside on that step up, to keep the truck under control a bit better. Neck and neck over the gap. Bad Company, not the cleanest landing there. Cockfighted Destruction gets a nice landing. We'll see how it translates here heading into the slalom. They are really neck and neck, mirroring each other's movements. Dead tie heading over the double rollers. Bad Company clears them completely. Still gets back up to starting elevation relatively unscathed here. Cockfighted Destruction in the lead heading up onto the bridge. Uh-oh, Cockfighted Destruction goes over and off of the bridge. Hard hit on the roof, and that is definitely going to put him out. No coming back from that, even if he landed on the wheels. Bad Company saving it from rolling over in the tunnel. Something nobody has been able to do really yet. Nearly goes cab first into the wall. He's going to relax a little bit, take it slow, long to low, up onto that elevated turn. Bad Company is headed to the finish line. He'll be moving on to the semifinals tonight. Trying to get back into the season and prove that he was deserving of the win of whether the Tour Championship or a World Championship. He was deserving. Heading up and over the line, Bad Company moves on to the semifinals. See him again in just a minute. But before we do, let's take a look at our semifinal bracket here as Bad Company showing off his skills. Just missed getting a World Two-Wheel Skills Championship as well at the World Finals, coming in second to Son of a Digger. But see how he does next time as Bad Company moves on to the semifinals. He'll be taking on Deadly Monster at the bottom of the bracket, and Punisher will take on Vet King in our first race of the semis. And this is going to be interesting, man. The Punisher has been solid all night, but Vet King seems to be a curse for his opponents. Will it work out for Vet King here in the semifinals? Will he end up in the final round? We'll see as we go green here in round 3, our semifinals tonight. Punisher gets to the step up first, but that may not matter. Punisher first time in that red lane. Taking on the gap, comes up short. Vet King does too though. Punisher a slight lead heading through the slalom, but this is where those werewolf trucks excel. They're a lot more grippy, not as much sliding, it's all power into the ground. Punisher up and over that double, both of them crooked. Punisher getting into trouble against the dumpsters here, fighting to get that truck on the track here. Yeah, Vet King is a curse. Punisher struggling, has not struggled at all tonight. Punisher takes on Vet King and begins struggling. Vet King is struggling even more though as we head into the tunnel. Punisher trying to keep it off the wall. Vet King looking for a transfer, doesn't quite get it. Up and over that roller. Punisher's gonna launch it. Solid landing there. Solid transfer onto that elevated turn. Vet King going long to low as he should. And it's just going to take him too long to get caught up. Punisher looks like he might be getting it unless he rolls it in this turn, which he does not. Punisher heads to our final round here in our second bracket of the night. We are nearly there One more race in the semifinals, and we'll be in our final round and our final race of the night. Vet King gets across the finish line. Punisher moving on to the finals. Vet King done. Next race of the night, Deadly Monster taking on Bad Company. Deadly Monster did roll the truck last time around, but he was solid. It's been solid all night. Bad Company the same. Didn't roll it. It's been solid all night. And Bad Company comes up second to the step up there. But they're neck and neck. Bad Company, a great landing on the downside of that Jackrabbit. And a beautiful landing on the gap from Bad Company. These two are going hard, as you should. This is for all the marbles. I mean, you're trying to qualify into Season 2 to get a show every third week, to be consistently used and show your skill. So, I mean, you really want to go hard. Deadly Monster struggling there off of that double roller. Bad Company, a nice solid gap. Just needs to have a solid run here for the rest of the time. He might be able to hold on and grab that last final spot. Bad Company looking for a transfer. Got into trouble in the tunnel last time. Keeps it under control this time. Deadly Monster needs a perfect transfer here. Relatively solid. Nicely done. Deadly Monster getting into some trouble. Going over and ending up on the roof. Bad Company free and clear to grab that final round placement. Getting around that final turn, up and over the triple. And he is going to do it. Bad Company moves on to the final round. Nicely done from Bad Company. He might celebrate with another stoppie here. He does. Sets it right back down. It's a long ride up to that starting elevation, and he needs to get up there for his race. Let's take a look at this bracket. Take a look at how things worked out tonight. The Punisher taking on Bad Company in your final round. It's amazing that the Punisher was able to knock out Vet King, if we're being honest. Not because Vet King is a G on this track, but because he's been a curse to every one of his opponents so far tonight, except for the Punisher. And here they come now. Punisher on your right, Company on your left, and they are going head to head up and over that step up. And they are neck and neck over the Jackrabbit as well. Bad Company a little crooked. Doesn't matter. They're still neck and neck, perfectly in step with each other. Bad Company does have a sloppy landing on that gap though. Bad Company looking a bit smoother than the Punisher through the slalom. Bad Company cuts the corner a little bit, but that doesn't matter. Heading up and over the double rollers. Bad Company nice and smooth. Punisher struggling this time. Onto the ski hill. The Punisher is not too far behind. He could easily make a big move and come back if Bad Company has any mistake. But Punisher is struggling up on the top of the bridge. Bad Company nearly had that mistake right there. Punisher trying to make up some ground through the tunnel. Oh, Punisher getting into trouble. Launching that truck sideways over the roller. And that might seal his fate right there. Unless there's a huge slip from Bad Company. Punisher looks like he's done. Bad Company heading into the final turn. Punisher fighting for his life right now. And it looks like it's going to be Bad Company over the triple and over the finish line. Bad Company moves on to a season position here in RORSRPS Season 2. Bad Company, you guys can head over to Instagram. Do not forget, head over to Instagram. Follow us. Keep an eye on my story. You will get to vote for which tour he gets placed on. We have 3 tours. We have the All-Star Challenge Tour, we have the Biggest and Baddest, and we have the Indie Madness Tour. All 3 are options that you can pick, and you can help me decide where we're putting Bad Company. You also get to decide his opponents as they all get qualified and where they'll get to go. The one last look at your 7th qualifier here, Bad Company, heading back up to starting elevation. Bad Company is number 7. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stick around on the channel, subscribe, because we got more coming very, very soon.